If you're not looking forward to Arcane Studios' reboot of Prey, well, maybe you should be. This is, after all, the developer behind the excellent Dishonored series, and they're bringing that kind of freeform sensibility to Prey when it releases at the start of next month, with this deeply psychological twist and a fascinating abandoned space station to explore. Having played the second hour of the game at a recent event, here's 10 things we think you need to know about Prey and the Typhon abilities. Number 1, smash all of the cups. Seriously, smash all of the cups and just screw the mimics in general. That moment that you open the door and everything just falls over, that's mimics. These shifty little gits that can turn into other objects, only to then shift form and surprise you, even though you think that you're being really cautious and know where they are. Number 2, unlocking Typhon abilities and how to turn yourself into a cup. Getting human abilities like hacking computer terminals and repairing things is pretty easy, and you can see them all laid out for you in the skill tree right from the start of the game, just waiting for you to jab needles into your eye and alter your brain's makeup. Unlocking Typhon abilities, however, is a little bit trickier, as you simply don't know what they are at the start of the game. It's only in this second section of the game that you're handed the Psychoscope, which allows you to scan the Typhon aliens and pick up their brain patterns. Scanning them as they wander around, they do have to be alive when you scan them. This allows you to discover their abilities and builds up a profile of their strengths and weaknesses, which you might like to dip into and read. Once you've scanned enough of a particular breed of Typhon, you can then unlock an ability of theirs and turn it back against them, such as the large humanoid phantom's kinetic blast, or just the ability to turn yourself into a cup, stapler, or whatever you like, and then roll and bounce around the world in disguise. It's pretty helpful for getting through those tight little gaps in the world. Number 3, the dangers of becoming too alien. So here's an interesting little fact, and it's pointed out to you quite clearly as you play. Yes, you can add more and more Typhon abilities to Morgan, but that just slowly starts to make him or her more and more alien in the eyes of the space station security systems. Do you want the flashiest and most powerful abilities in the game? Well, of course you do. But at the same time, you probably don't want every turret to start shooting at you when they'd previously been on your side shooting the Typhon. Number 4, the glue cannon is virtually essential. I honestly don't know why, but it didn't sink into my mind for at least the first hour and a half playing this game, but the glue cannon is really useful for solving environmental puzzles in Prey. It really should be your first port of call for practically every kind of situation. If, for example, there is a bare electrical hazard with arcing electricity coming out of the wall, you can stop that with a few shots of glue, and while you've then only got a few moments to get what you need to done, that's often more than enough. Similarly, there's some pretty awesome abilities or simple explosives that you might use which can quite easily leave flames shooting out of gas pipes. That's pretty painful to walk through, but with a well-placed spot of glue you'll be on your way past it in no time. Not only that, but it is just fantastic during combat, easily slowing down and immobilizing eventually the Typhon enemies so that you can then use other weapons to take them out without the pressure of them firing crazy abilities back at you. Number 5, there's almost always another way. Prey is a game where there's almost always more than one solution to the problem that faces you. The destination might be the same, but how you arrive there can be quite different each time. Just as you could use the glue cannon to block the electricity in this particular room, you can also find a nice little vent tucked into a wall which you can duck inside and then flip a switch to turn all of the electricity off in that room. Number 6, there's some moral choices in the game. Take for example the first living human that you encounter in the game. Now I won't go into the reasons for this, but he's trapped in a cruel experiment of sorts, begging to be let free and bargaining with access to a stash of weapons. On the other hand, you can leave him to be eaten by mimics, and that has its own particular upside. Number 7, you are very limited for resources. You have to be careful with the resources at your disposal, whether it's health packs, shotgun ammo, or whatever. There's only so much of it in the world to pick up, making fights with the bigger Typhon much more fraught with danger as you try to conserve that ammo. Thankfully, you can recycle tons of stuff at machines dotted around the world, whether it's actual trash or items you simply no longer want. You then just pick up the blocks of materials that the recycler spits out, and can use these with the unlocked blueprints at the 3D printers to produce everything from medkits and ammo to new guns themselves. In other words, pick up literally every scrap of junk you can find. It's all useful, and yes, that does count for the gloop that is left over from the Typhon that you kill. Number 8. Friendly floating operators. There's these little drones known as operators that happily just hover around several parts of the Talos 1 space station, and these benign little bots are more than happy to help you out. Simply walk up to them and say hello, and they will then scan you back and reply. If they find you lacking in the particular resource that they can supply, such as health or psi power, they will top you up to full. How lovely of them. Number 9. Neuro Mods are pretty plentiful. Oddly enough, whilst there's scarcity of bullets, the Neuro Mods themselves are seemingly everywhere. I don't know if I simply wasn't paying attention or if the game just throws them at you early on, but I was often surprised by just how many points I had that I could drop into new abilities or improving existing ones. So definitely keep an eye on this for access to those abilities sooner rather than later. Number 10. Adding chipsets to your psychoscope and suit. Last but by no means least, it's not just abilities that can change your character build and playstyle, as you can also upgrade and modify your spacesuit and psychoscope. This is a simple and modular system, letting you drop in and remove whatever chipsets it is you have to hand. For example, I was saved on one or two occasions by having the grounding resistor mod on my suit, while the mimic detection chipset for the psychoscope ought to help you find those bloody mimics much better as you go into a room for the first time. And here we are at the end of this list. So, Prey is out on May 5th for PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC, but you can also try the game out and play the first hour with a demo that is releasing a week before then on April 27th. It's definitely worth checking out. Beyond that, we have a written preview of what we played over on the sixthaxis.com, which I'd obviously love for you to go and read, just as much as I'd love for you to stick around here and click the like and subscribe buttons for our little YouTube channel. Thanks as ever for watching, and we'll hopefully see you again soon.